Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together, what we call the sanctuary or the retreat, or I would prefer to call it the boot camp. And I explained that a few times already, that the difference in my mind is that a boot camp is where you practice and seek peace in the middle of chaos, as opposed to avoiding the chaos. And so today we're going to be doing a original Qigong exercise called Yi Jing Jing, sometimes we just call it YJJ. Yi means exchange or renewal. Jing means the tendon, or more precisely, the connective tissue. So it's just another name for what we call the meridians, the live energy channel. And then the last word, Jing, just means the treatise, the practice of. So before we do that, we're going to do a bunch of exercise, to purpose of which is to clear our energy channel, starting from the fingertips all the way to the toes, starting from the top of the head all the way to the bottom of the feet. Now, you will notice that once we do all that, and the effect, the benefit of the Yi Jing Jing, the YJJ, will become more obvious. And then it's with that we practice. So I already mentioned a few times, we do now have a in-person class on Sunday, tomorrow at 9 a.m. My time, Pacific Standard Time, and it would be in Oakland, California. So for those of you who are in the neighborhood, wanted to come and join us, you're welcome. And it's not just, it's actually a partnership between myself and Mr. Tian Nguyen, who's a formerly incarcerated individual, also a certified yoga teacher. And so we'll be doing both yoga and meditation, which I kind of grouped together, called the 8 limbs of yoga, the original training of the historical Buddha. Okay, having said all that, let's get started. So everything that we do, we come back to the body, right? So the 8 limbs of yoga start with what's called asana. Asana is the posture, and also the practice of the body. So let's focus on our body for now. Let's just anchor a mind on the very bottom of our spine. Let's stretch your spine towards the ceiling by walking up the spine, one joint at a time, stretching the spine as we go up. And when we get to the very top, we lean back and then relax. Now we lift up a shoulder all the way up as far as we can, and then open a shoulder and then relax. Having done all that, we can now start on the fingertips. So let's focus on our left hand. Let's bring up our left hand. Focus on the fingertips. We're going to take our right hand, our right thumb, and we're going to massage the fingertips one at a time. And I want you to stay focused, stay mindful. This is, in fact, a meditation. It's a mindfulness meditation. I just call it mindfulness in motion. It's actually, you train your mindfulness while you're moving. Now that we finished with the left hand, let's come to the right hand. Again, we start at the fingertips very slowly, very mindfully. Continue to observe the change in the body as we massage. Now we're moving from the fingertips along the finger. Now we're going to massage the joints. Take your right hand, use the fingertips, massage around the joints from the left to the center to the right. As you finish one joint, you move to the other. As you finish one finger, you move to the other. And then now just continue. Observe the change in your body. Feel there's any heat, any sweat, any pain, any numbness in your body. So this is actually when we practice one of the 4 foundations of mindfulness, called the mindfulness of the feeling. But it's important to understand that it's actually feeling it without judging it. So it's more accurate to say that it's sensation. And as you know, we're full of nerve endings in the body. So when we touch something or we're being touched, it sends an electrical signal into our spine. So the sensation part actually stops at the spine. Once all the signals are collected from the eyes, from the ears, from the nose, from the tongue, from the body, it sends it up to the brain. That's the thinking part. So what we're trying to do is step back a little, explore our intelligence system beyond just the intellect. Okay? All right. So now we're flipping the hands over. We're going to work on the back of the hand now. Again, starting the fingertip, but this time we're going to take the thumb and the index finger and just kind of squeeze around the corner of the nails, one finger at a time. Finish with the left hand. Now we're going to do it the right hand, one finger at a time. Now we're going to work on the joints again, this time from the back of the hand. Again, focus on each and every one of the joints. And as we finish one joint, we move to another. As we finish one finger, we move to another. And that's really the training of mindfulness, what I call anchoring. Anchor your mind on the present and not on the past, not on the future. Focusing on the past, thinking about the past, overthinking it causes fear, anxiety. Thinking about the future does the same thing. All right. Okay, so now we're done with the fingertip, we're done with joints. I'm just going to use my thumb and just kind of rub along the length of my fingers, massaging in between the joints. Now do the right hand. Some of you might already notice that as you massage your fingers, as you're working your fingers, you actually warm up, the entire body warm up. Okay, now we work on the back of the hand again, along the length of the fingers, in between the joints, and then now on the right hand. Okay, now we keep moving, right? So now we're moving away from the fingertips of the joints and in between the fingers now. So we take our right thumb, use the edge of the fingers and just kind of massage what's in between. Okay, we'll come back to the thumb in a minute and just what's in between. And now we're going to work on the knuckle. And in between the knuckle, again, use our right hand, edge of the thumb, work on the knuckle, in between the knuckle. And now we're going to work on the back of the hand, and notice that each fingers are individual until they get to the wrist. So basically it creates a line in between the fingers. So we take a thumb and just kind of massage in between, massage in between, massage in between. Okay, now there's 3 energy points that are in the back of the wrist. So anytime we talk about the back of something where it's facing the sun, we call that yang. Right? Yang means the presence of the sun, the influence of the sun. Yang is a energetic energy, whereas yin, the other side, away from the sun, is the restorative energy. It actually symbolizes the way that we evolve as a species. Once we get down the tree, and we live in the cave. So when you're outside the cave, we call it yang, under the sun. When we're inside the cave, we call that yin, away from the sun. And actually, that is how we describe our autonomous system. When you're outside the sun, when you're in yang, that's energetic, that's fight or flight. When the other side is rest and digest. So this is the part where you actually want to increase your yang energy. As we age, many of you notice that as you age, there's a lack of energy, but also your body is very cold, right? Just think about when you go to sleep, your feet are very cold, and we call that the lack of yang energy. So there's 3 very important energy points, and we're going to do a little bit of acupressure now. And the first one is called the Valley of Yang. So you can just from the name, you can see how important it is. Well, we start with the index fingers, we move down to the wrist. Now, if you put your thumb on top of the area and you just kind of move back and forth, you see a cavity there. That's the energy point. So now use the flat part of the thumb and you just kind of massage and press. Okay, now I feel a little bit of numbness like that. Okay, now do the other side. Start from the index fingers, move until you get to the wrist, and you put your thumb there, and then you kind of move around, and then you feel that like the thumb just kind of settle into that cavity. Now you first massage, and then you press down. There's another one in the back of the hand, so you can see it right here. It's kind of like this. All right, so again, you put your thumb here and just kind of move your wrist until the fingers settle into that cavity and press. Same thing over here, press. There's another one, and then right in the back of the hand, along the index finger, put your thumb there and just kind of move your wrist, and the thumb will settle into a cavity and you press. And then over here, same thing, and you press. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we're going to come back to the thumb, right? We're kind of ignoring the thumb for a while. The thumb deserves special attention. So I want you to massage the thumb, and then I want you to make a pincher out of the thumb and the index fingers. And imagine you can see almost like a drumstick here. There's a meaty part here. So you take your pincher and just kind of massage that part. Now this is the part. There's a very important energy part, part of the what's called the lung energy line, lung meridian. Same thing on the other side. And then now you make a knuckle and just kind of, not a knuckle, make a point and just kind of drill into that and then drill into that. Okay. Now these energy points that I talk about are all energy points that are known to enhance the heart. Okay. The heart and lung together. All right. Now, so there's another one that is very important. Right in the center of the palm, this is the only energy points that gives out energy. And then the other side, I call that the chamber of labor. And then now I want you to put that together and kind of rub that together. Rub that together. Okay. Now I want you to put the right hand on top of the left hand, the center of the palm in the back of the hand. Squeeze the fingers together and kind of massage the hand. So we have a very simple concept in the traditional Chinese medicine, which is that the body is not just made of components. The body is actually made of energy, right? And so there's a whole system of energy in a body. And by working on these energy lines, it creates a much better flow of energy in the body. And so we believe that when there's a clear flow of these life energy, what we call qi, the end result is that it enables a self-healing power. It's very easy to understand, right? The self-healing power is in the yin, right? So when you're outside, so the self-healing power is in the yang, sorry about that. When you're outside under the sun, you're in danger. Our body evolves to a point where it puts out stress hormone, puts out steroid to reduce inflammation. So if you know how to reduce inflammation in the body heals itself, right? But the problem is that you cannot be out in the sun all the time. The body cannot take that kind of torture. So you have to come back to the safety of the cage when you're in the yin mode, when you're in the rest and digest mode, and for many reasons, but one of which is to restore the sensitivity to the stress hormone, right? Can you imagine you're oversaturated with stress hormone, and your body just loses its own healing ability. So by self-healing requires that balance, that harmony between the yin and yang, between the fight or flight and the rest and the digest. So as you clear these energy lines, your body just feels better, right? It just feels better because you're healing yourself, all right? Okay, so now after we do that, we do one more thing with the fingers. We're just gonna pull on every one of them. And then now to the right. And then now we're going to start some finger exercise. We have two sets of finger exercise. The first one is known for reducing your probability of having a stroke, right? A stroke is inflammation. You say, oh no, that's not true. My doctor said a stroke caused from having too much cholesterol in my bloodstream. Yes, that is true. But why would you have more cholesterol? Because the body is trying to heal itself. The problem is not with the cholesterol. Your brain is 80% cholesterol. The problem is not cholesterol. The problem is that your blood vessels are inflamed, right? So the Chinese believe that the way to reduce that is, again, coming back to the balance. And this time they think about the balance of the 5 elements: the water, the vegetation, the fire, the soil, and then also the mineral. And so the internal organs are described in these 5 elements, and the fingers are also the 5 elements. So they believe that by working on the fingers, it would restore that harmony and reduce inflammation in your body. And so before we do that, because we call that a qigong exercise, we have to understand, where does the qi go? Well, the qi is kind of get all collected into your spine. The spine is the what we call the guardian vessel, is where all the yang energy come together. So I want you to stretch the spine. And stretching the spine from a Western perspective is also very important, because as we age, our spine, a spiral column collapses. That's why we get shorter every day, right? And so we want to stretch that spiral column, and then lean back. As you lean back, you feel the lightness in you, because you're reducing the load on your muscle. You're putting the weight on top of the spine. And then I want you to lift up the shoulder again, open the shoulder. This is a very important part. This is where all the lung energy comes. And then relax. Now, the lung energy is important. The lung is a mineral element. So the Chinese believe that the lung is the part that adds vitality to your water. The water is everything in your body. Okay? All right. So after we do that, then close your eye. Focus on the center of the palm of your right hand. Bring up your right hand. Now focus on the center of your palm on the left hand. Bring up your left hand. Now take the thumb and the index fingers, put them together, and then just squeeze as hard as you can. Now take the thumb and the middle fingers, put them together, and squeeze as hard as you can. Now with the ring finger, squeeze as hard as you can. And then small fingers, and squeeze as hard as you can. Now come back and put the thumb in the middle of the index finger and squeeze as hard as you can. Middle of the middle finger and squeeze as hard as you can. And then the middle of the ring finger. And then finally the middle of the small finger. Okay? And that's it. So it's very famous in Taiwan. A retired professor, I mentioned this many times now, and a retired professor, a professor who had just retired, was suffering a minor stroke. And so he was taught this technique. And after that, he recovered. And so he made it very popular. Now, the second exercise has to do with the coordination of the fingers and the brain, right? And I mentioned a few times already that, if you don't write it down, you're not going to remember. That's a very simple saying. It turns out that the fingers and the brain has to work together. And if you just see something and you don't write it down, that's why people, when they read, I noticed that many of my students, when I was a professor, they have a highlighter, and they read books and they highlight. They're never going to go back and read it again. So what's the point of the highlight? It's actually to activate the fingers in order for the brain to work more efficiently. Okay, I would never do that. I can't. It's just not the way I grew up. Why? Because I was very poor. Right? I was very poor. And when I finish my book, my textbook, I sell it for money so I can buy books for the next semester. So when I see kids, highlighting the books, I'm thinking they're throwing the books away, putting money away. Anyway, now the next exercise require again for us to stretch the spine, lift up a shoulder as high up as we can, lean back, open the shoulder, and then relax. Relax some more. Now we're going to work on the brain and the fingers together. So let's raise our right hand, which means that we're using a left brain. We're going to focus on the fingers. Close your eyes. We're going to bring in the thumb, then two fingers, now the index fingers, and then the small fingers. We're going to lower the right hand, bring up our left hand, which means that we're using the right side of our brain. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Bring up both hands, squeeze as hard as you can. Bring down the left hand, focus on the right hand, open the fingers in the reverse order, small fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Left hand, small fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. And then now stretch as hard as we can. This is the part that's important. I want you to tell yourself, I just finished the first time, now I'm ready for the second time. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze as hard as you can. Little fingers, thumb, two fingers, little fingers, two fingers, index fingers, thumb. Okay? Now focus on the left hand. Little fingers, index fingers, two fingers, thumb. Stretch as hard as you can. Now to the third time. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Thumb, 2 fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze as hard as you can. Open it back up, 1 finger at a time. In small fingers, index, 2 fingers, thumb. Left hand, small fingers, index, 2 fingers, thumb. And then stretch as hard as we can. Okay? Not so easy, right? Not so easy. That's the whole point. It actually requires a lot of coordination. Now, I want you to sit up straight again, put the palms together, push as hard as you can, and then lift up the elbow. And now, without keep maintaining contact between the center of the palm. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, bring the hands down. Feel the stress on your wrists. And then now come back. We're going to start with the next modality, and it's called tapping. Okay, so we're going to tap our fingertips. But again, I want you to focus entirely on your fingertips. I want you to feel the vibration as you do it. I want you to count as you do it. Okay? Now, 30 times. Get ready. Go. Okay, now I want you to cross the fingers. I want you to tap that 30 times. Get ready. Go. Okay, now I want you to focus on the center or focus on your palm of your hand. And there's 2 energy lines, 2 meridian. One is named after the heart. Actually, it's more like the mental side of the heart. And the other side is the thumb, which is the lung. There are 2 very important energy points here. And this one we'll kind of already work with. We'll come back to that. There's another one. You can also see the mirror, the correlation, right? So I want you to sit up straight, put your palms together, forming a V, and on the meaty part now, okay, 30 times. And now forming a V again on the meaty part, 30 times. Okay, now we're going to work on this, the side that is facing the sun. And this is the heart, this is the small intestine, this is the lung, this is the large intestine. So there's an energy point right at the edge of your palm, right, where you have your hand. It's actually quite important in terms of enhancing the yang energy. So I want you to sit up straight first. And then I want you to fold your hands. See the line that goes across? It's right on the edge. So this time we're going to fold, we're going to put our palm flat like this. Roll up the 4 fingers, forming a soft fist, and tap this energy point 30 times. Okay, now this is an energy point that is along the meridian that we name after the small intestine. This one is an energy point, a very important one actually, that is named that is part of the meridian that we name after the large intestine. So I just want you to take your right hand, put that on top. So this is called the merging valley. So you can see the valley in here. Sit up straight 30 times. And the other side. Okay, so for those of you who are new, you might look at this set exercise and kind of it's very unfamiliar to you, and you're not quite sure what's the purpose and what's the benefit. Well, actually, the real test is that if you stop doing it. So I took 2 weeks off and I stopped practicing for 2 weeks, too busy on the road, and then your body just like you just feel like, oh, I feel old, you know. This is what a 70-year-old body feels like. And but then when I do this now, 7 days a week. Right? I used to do it for 6 days a week. I do it for 7 days a week now. I just feel good, right? And so hopefully for those of you who are new, at least be curious and see why we are all here together for so many years. And you can't see my other student. You can't see my mom. My mom will be celebrating her 90th birthday this year. I'll be celebrating my 70th birthday, and we're both very healthy, right? And and also our practice kind of evolve. A big part is because of what I think I need, what my mom needs. Right? She had a episode last year where, afterwards they diagnosed her having a congestive valve, right? A valve that doesn't close properly, and so knowing that, I kind of cater my practice now towards what she needs. So you notice that I talk about, how to strengthen your heart, right? So we're going to continue talk about some of the energy points that can help to strengthen your heart. All right, so we're going to do some acupressure now. And so we're going to come back to this energy point called the emergent valley. This is, for those of you who are curious, I don't know what the number is. Somebody probably know. The lung is, the large intestine, I believe, is Li, and I don't know what the number is, Li 2, 3, something like that. And you would just ask AI to talk about the benefit. That's what's good about AI now. Don't run away from technology, right? Utilize the technology, and AI is a very good way to really understand, gaining more knowledge. So how do we do acupressure here? It's very simple. It requires a little bit of trick, but it's very simple. First, I'm going to open up my thumb and my index finger. Then I see this edge here, this ridge edge. Then I'm going to take my right thumb and I see this line. I'll put the line on top of the ridge, and then I press in with my thumb. Now the trick is you got to take your right hand and put that over your left hand. The reason for that is that as you push down, you actually slightly lean towards the index finger, and you feel a little bit of numbness like this, okay? All right, now do the same thing on the other side. Put the left hand on over the right hand and push down, okay? Now this energy is known for reducing pain, okay? But it's also known for lowering your blood pressure. There's another energy point right at the bend. So it's called the palm of bend. And then same thing now, just be careful when you have fingernail that you don't press in with your fingernail, but you try to either just remove your fingernail or just use the flat part of your palm, of thumb, okay? Now this is also known for reducing high blood pressure. There's a lot of reasons for high blood pressure. It is just a symptom of something much deeper. All right, so there's two more energy points that I wanted to talk about. One is out just along the small finger. Now we were working on the outside. Now we're working on the inside. So again, you move and your thumb falls into a cavity and just kind of massage that. Now, so when I say heart, the Chinese doesn't distinguish the physical heart with the mental heart. Mental heart is up here. Right. So this actually it reduces your anxiety and keeps you a better night of sleep. And it's not just anxiety. As we age, um, it's hard for me. We, um, hmm, I'll have to find a way to explain it. All right. So there's another one coming back to the theme of strengthening your heart. Is part of the pericardium. And so if you fold your wrist and you measure 3 fingers, and it's just right in the center, all right? So you can massage that with your thumb, or you can put 4 fingers in the back and just kind of squeeze on there. And the other side, and squeeze on there, okay? All right, so now we come to the part that I recommend highly that you need to develop into a habit. I do this like 2 or 3 times a day, especially right before I sleep, right? To clear the meridians, to clear the channel and reduce inflammation in the body in order to get a much better night of sleep. This is especially true if you have carpal tunnel, right? This is something you have to do. Carpal tunnel is inflammation. So you take a straight edge, you take a scraping tool. This technique is called Guatsa. Someone wrote that. It's Guasa, 2 words. You can go to Amazon and there are all kinds of tools you can buy. And most people do that with their face, but this is a good way to clear the energy, reduce inflammation, reduce pain, okay? And it's something I particularly recommend before you go to sleep. All right, so you take a straight edge and you identify the center of the inside of your hand, your arm. You start at the wrist, at the elbow. You move along until you get to the wrist, and then you come back. Okay, don't be afraid of pain. I don't want you to hurt yourself. It's not the point. But the pain actually heals. Okay, but now the Western scientists try to understand that now, and they think that is to relieve some of the um, agents underneath the skin, right? That has a healing power. All right, so now we move up, and first we move all the way to the bone, but we're back down, so it's in the inside the bone, again from the elbow to the wrist, and come back. Now we scrape the bone, and then on the outside the bone is the one that we name after the large intestine, again from the elbow to the wrist, and then the center part is a meridian that we name after what's called the triple warmer, which has no Western counterpart. Now we scrape along the small fingers and then back, and then we scrape the back of the hand, scrape the fingers, the thumb, and then back to along the small fingers in the center on the outside, right outside the bone, on top of the bone, inside the bone, and then the center, and then finally the mind, the heart. We scrape right around the wrist about 4 inches, and then we scrape along until we get to the elbow. Okay, something that you ought to try, something that you want to keep as a habit. I actually travel with a small scraping tool. All right. So now on the right side, again, the center part first, from the elbow to the wrist, a little further up, but below the bone, on the inside of the bone, and then on top of the bone, on the outside of the bone, the center part, and then on the outside, back of the hand. And then keep moving, keep rotating until you get to the pericardium again, and then along the small fingers all the way to the elbow. Okay, all right. So there are a lot of different techniques that are all trying to do the same, which is to clear the channel. The one that is most famous, acupuncture using a needle. There's something very similar, but instead of using a needle, it's as if they're burning a big incense using infrared, acupressure, massage, tapping, and then what else? Scraping, okay? And then there's one more that we don't do here, which is using a suction cup, right? All these techniques revolve around a central theme, which is to clear the energy channel. And that is basically how the Chinese believe health should be, is to clear your energy channel. Think of your body as an energy system, just the way that you think about your universe as an energy system, right? There are 2 ways to think about the universe. It's just the universe composed of individual planets, or the universe composed of energy, right? So the scientists even invent something called dark energy, right? Something we don't understand yet. There's a whole lot that the scientist doesn't understand yet, right? But the Chinese, instead of trying to understand it, they try to experience it. And there's a lot of things that they can experience that they don't understand, but they respect it. They still respect it, okay? Westerners opposite. If you don't understand it, we don't respect it. All right, so now we're ready to do some more finger exercise. And this one is actually a little bit more mechanical, a little bit more energetic, based on action equal to reaction. And so again, we stretch our spine, lift up our shoulder, lean back, open the shoulder, and then relax. Now we're pointing all fingers towards the camera. We lock the elbow. We roll up the 4 fingers. We lock it with the thumb. The 4 fingers are springs, so wind up the springs, but we hold it down with the thumb, and then we get it ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Focus on your fingers. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Now the next one actually requires a little modification in your posture, or instead, maybe not modification, but refinement on your posture. So come back, stretch your spine, sit up, and instead of just leaning back, I want you to actually lean forward. Now, after you lean forward, you focus on the lower part of your back, and then you lean back without moving your hip. So your hip is forward and your upper torso is back. So you feel the stress right behind on both sides where the kidneys are. Then you open your shoulder and then relax. Now you take your hand. Now this is actually an important hand gesture. It's called the lotus hand. So you take your thumb and the middle finger, and then you take the other three and you stretch. You take this lotus hand, you put that in front of this energy point called the gate to the cloud. You open that again, and you push out your hip and you lean back. Okay, all of that. Now back of the hand is now facing the camera. Get ready. 1, back of the hand is facing the camera. So you actually have to twist your arm slightly. Come back, lotus hand. Okay, open your shoulder, push out your hip, lean back, put that on top of your gate to the cloud. 2, come back. 3, come back. 4, come back. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? All right. Now I'll talk about the class that we have tomorrow, Sunday. And we're just starting now. It's going to be, we're going to be able to do it with some regularity. And this is a partnership between myself and Chán. And so we're going to start the class with yoga, the typical, standard conventional yoga. And so when people talk about yoga, they think that there's just one thing called yoga, right? Which is not really the case, right? It's not really the case. It's like going to a Chinese restaurant and confuse the ingredients with the style of cooking. You could have the same ingredients and have different style. You could have same style with different ingredients. The two doesn't really have to do with one another. And so people think that, oh, when I say yoga, that means, oh, that's yoga, right? Actually, no, that's just one way of practicing yoga. In fact, yoga is not just that. Yoga, I talk about, it consists of the 8 limbs of yoga. It's a spiritual practice. It's not a physical practice, okay? And so there are many ways you could talk about what we do here as the 8 limbs of yoga. And so this is really the practice of the body. But at the same time, you have to understand that it's a spiritual practice. So you also have to think about the mind, not the thinking mind. First the thinking mind, but then ultimately not the thinking mind. It gets very, very profound. But then with understanding that in between the mind and the body is actually your energy, your chi, right? So, all right, so now we're going to work on the back of our neck. So I want you to stretch first and then lift up your shoulder, open your shoulder, lean back and relax. Always come back to this posture. This posture has a name. It's called the one pillar supporting the sky. This is actually, you're actually aligning your body as the pillar, as the conduit between the energy in the sky and the energy on earth. All right. And so when we talk about chi, it's actually the cosmic energy, not just your internal energy. All right. So now we're going to work on some bottleneck, literally bottleneck. It's around the neck. So I want you to take the thumb and then slide down the skull, and there's a cavity here. So this is called the pond of wind, right? The Chinese think of the elements, wind, as something that you cannot see, cannot taste, cannot smell, that your body can feel. So this is really how we describe nerve. So this is actually a bottleneck for a nerve. So I want you to massage. Now I want you to take the flat part of the thumb and push in, lean back, hold the pressure, and then relax. Now take the right hand, put that on the left, push down with the forefingers, grab the left side of your neck and pull it towards the right. And then same thing on the other side, push down, grab the right side of your neck and pull it towards the left. Now you take your left hand, you lift up your left ear, and then you use your right hand and you massage right below the ear. Now this is actually well known now because you can buy a lot of toys advertised to energize your vagus nerve, and people now realize that the vagus nerve actually starts from the bottom of your ear. Now this energy point is actually very interesting. It's called how do I say that? The feather on top of the wind. It's basically the part that blocks the nerve system. Okay, it's kind of interesting. Now I want you to massage across. And then same thing on the other side. Massage right below the ear. And then pull it across. Now I want you to massage the top of the ear. And then massage down. Massage the top of the ear. And then massage down. Now put your thumb on the corner. And then move down halfway on top of the bone and massage. Now this one, you feel a lot of stress here, right? So this is the part that you want to massage if you're not getting a good night's sleep. Okay, now come back to this part of the wind and then kind of squeeze your neck by putting pressure on both sides. And go to the middle. There's 2 energy points and squeeze the middle. And then go all the way down here. You can actually feel 2 cavities here and massage. Now use the meaty part of your right thumb and massage your neck. Use your right hand, massage the neck, massage some more. Okay. Now this is very important, especially if you have high blood pressure. So I mentioned that high blood pressure is a symptom. It's a very important symptom, but the reason for having high blood pressure is very complicated. And a big reason is because you're not getting enough oxygen into your brain. And so by just reducing high blood pressure, reducing the symptom, actually makes it worse. So a lot of you have a problem with your head, very painful. And of course you take painkiller and that makes it worse, right? All right, so now I'm gonna show you how to massage the neck, right? Both the right side and both the left side and the right side. So I want you to first stretch your spine, look straight ahead. I want you to turn your head to the right and then look down. And now you see this tendon. I want you to use the edge of the right index finger and just scrape very gently. Okay. Now I want you to look straight ahead again and this time look up. And now along here, massage. Now I want you to massage the top of the shoulder by addressing this cavity. This is called the well on the shoulder. And then move your fingers. There's another cavity right here. There's one next to it. And there's one right next to that. And then there's one right here. Okay? These are the points that relieve pain and stress on your shoulder. All right? Now we do it on the right side. First, we look straight ahead. We turn our head to the left. We look down. And then we scrape along the tendon, this muscle. And then now look straight ahead again. Over, lift up, and we scrape along here. And then we massage the shoulder by working on the cavity, back, across, around here, and then in front. Okay? So you notice that we always work on the energy points, the cavities, right? The cavities. In fact, the Chinese word for these energy points, these trigger points, sometimes called, it's the word that we use for cave, just the cave, right? All right, so now we're going to work on our face. Okay? A lot of work to do, okay? And now we're going to put our hands together. This is the one that gives our energy. And people actually have done a study and they show that the energy is actually infrared. Okay, it's just heat. Okay, now I want you to take the left hand, form a cavity, form an empty hand, put that on your left eye. Take the right hand, form a cavity, put that on your right eye. Sit up straight, open your eyes. Now move your fingers around until you see only darkness. Okay, get ready. First time. Put that on your eye. Open your eyes. Don't press down, okay? Don't press on your eyeball. Just put that on your eye. And one last time. Put that on your eye. Okay, now massage your forehead. Massage on the outside of your nose, the two sides on the nose. Massage your face. Massage the side of your face. And then put the center of your palm on top of the temple. And then massage. Now use the fingers and massage in between the eyebrow. This is where all your stress are. And then just kind of move up 1/2 inch at a time until you get to this part, this triangular part. Come back, use the index finger and massage the beginning of the eyebrow. Massage on top of the eyebrow. Massage the forehead. And then just keep going up. Massage the brain, the large brain, responsible for your cognitive function. The back of the head, responsible for your memory. And then the lower part, responsible for your motor functions. Massage your neck. And then massage on top of your ear, back to your face, outside. And then now I want you to massage your fingers one more time by grabbing each and every one of those fingers and kind of twist around like this. Okay, now we're going to massage your eyes, okay? Now the eyes have 3 energy points here and 3 energy points here. So first, index fingers on the beginning of the eyebrow, sit up straight, put some pressure. And then massage on the eyebrow. Now there's also some oil tubes there that as we age, they get stuck. And that's why your eyes are very dry. And so you want to squeeze that like you're squeezing toothpaste, okay? Now you take your thumb, you put that at the corner of your eye, you go all the way to the tail, right below the eye bag, okay? Okay, now you take your index finger, you put that at the corner of your eye, okay? Now you sit up straight, we're gonna do some eye yoga. I want you to close your eye, then I want you to turn your eyeball up as if you're looking at the ceiling. I want you to turn it to the right, looking as far as you can. I want you to turn it down, looking at the floor, then to the left, back to up. We're going to rotate eyeballs clockwise. Get ready. Up, right, down, left. Up, right, down, left. Up, right, down, left. Come back to up. We're going to do that counterclockwise. Up, left, down, right. Up, left, down, right. Up, left, down, right. Open your eyes. Okay. This energy point is called the right eye. Now I want you to take the 2 fingers and just going to massage all the way you get to the chin. I want you to take the index fingers, massage right below the eye bag, not massage, acupressure. Now I want you to start at the and just bring down your fingers. You feel the bone, right? Right below the bone, push in and then push up. Okay, clear the sinus. It's a very important energy points here. So when we have, not every morning, but every other morning like that, I get up and I have a running nose because all the allergen, all the whatever it is that I breathe in irritates my sinus, and it's inflammation. It's just inflammation. So this is a good way to do it. Just come down, push it, and push up. Okay, clear that. Okay, now massage here. This is very important energy point here. This is where the yang and the yin crosses. Okay, and now massage right below the neck. And then finally, we get to the ears. So we divide up the ears into 3 parts. Upper part, we put the thumb on the upper part and the 4 fingers. And then the middle, there are 260 energy points in the ear. There are people who specialize in acupuncture of the ear. Okay, all right. So now we massage the tip, yank, massage the edge, massage the ear loop, yank. Leave the thumb behind the ear loop. Take the index finger, put that outside of your ear and massage. All right, so now we massage the back of the ear. So there are people who believe that if you just do your massage or your acupressure or everything that you do only on the ear, it's enough. It actually reflects their entire body. Okay, now let me do that on the other side. And I forgot to explain what we need to do. So take a thumb and then just massage outside of the, this rim. And then take 2 fingers, massage the top, and then bring it down, 1 finger on the ear, 1 finger on the skull, and then massage below. Okay, now we're gonna do one more exercise called the drumming of the ear. Get ready? Close your ears, stretch, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. So now we're ready for tapping. We start at the top of the head. We go to the bottom of the feet. Okay. All right. So now the top of the head, there's an energy point here called the 100 meat, where all the yang energy come together. I mentioned many times that my father suffered from dementia, and so the exercise that I do for him, in addition to everything else, is tapping the top of the head, and it actually improved his memory and his cognitive function. It's very important energy point. So first we stretch, then we lift up a shoulder, we lean back, we open a shoulder, we relax a shoulder. One more thing. Lean back the forehead, ears on top of the shoulder, tuck in your chin. So this energy point is facing the sky on top of your central nervous system. Now we take our 10 fingers, we put that on top, okay? Well, look straight ahead. Now, feel free to move around, move around relative to your fingers. So you can tap, and each time you might want to move ahead a little bit. The body will tell you, right, where you should be tapping. Okay, get ready, go. Okay, now take the fingertip, not the fingernail. Massage all the way to the neck. Second time. One last time. And then put that on top of the ear. 1 time, 2 time, and then 3 time. Okay? And one of the things that my mom noticed last week or the week before, she said, "Oh, I went to the hairstylist, and the guy was really amazed that my hairs are not 100% gray. There's still a lot of black hair on the back." I said, "That's true. Look at me. I'm the same way." Right? You notice that this is all black? I mean, not black. There's some black in here, right? We call that pepper and salt, right? And I said, "Oh, yeah, that's very common. That's very common among meditators, that their hair doesn't get completely white. Right? White hair is dead hair. And so it just puts life back into your hair. It's true. All right. So now, because we are running out of time, we still have a whole half body to work on. I'm going to focus now on what's called the 8 cavities, the 8 longevity cavities. There are 4 on top, 4 on the bottom. We'll work on the 4 on the bottom when we get down on the floor. Now, the first one is at the armpit. Now, these turn out to be the warmest part of your body. They're the closest to your internal organs. I know, right? This is how I keep myself warm when I was climbing mountains with my son. And I told the story about how we were in Kenya, and I had my own guide. They were already, towards the top of the head. I was still struggling, and it was so cold. And I asked my guide, I said, "What temperature is it?" He says, "Oh, minus 40. I said, "Minus 40 Celsius or minus 40 Fahrenheit?" He says, "It's minus 40. They're the same." That's how cold it is. And the only way I can keep warm is with these. Okay. So this is very important. Now, so this is part of the heart meridian. And this muscle is actually very important. Okay. Now, so we're going to stretch this muscle. So we're going to take our elbow. We're going to put that on top of the head. We're going to look straight ahead. So you're stretching this muscle. Then we take our fingers and pinch upper part of the ear. We turn our head to the right. We bring up our right hand. We form empty hand. We put that on the left armpit. We listen with the left ear. Get ready? Go. Wake up. do the other side. Okay, lift up your head so you're stretching this part. Pinch the left ear. Turn your head to the left, to the right. Listen to the right ear. Get ready. Go. Continue. Okay, now the second cavity, longevity cavity, is at the elbow because there's 3 energy points here. And so we're going to first lock the elbow. Then we're going to take the right hand, form empty hand, hands on, fingers on top, palm on the side. Then we're going to lift up a hand, palm facing up, turn our head to the right, listen with the left ear, get ready, go. Continue. And then now the other side, left hand, right ear, get ready, go. Continue. Okay. All right. So now we're going to work on the lower part of the body. So I'm going to change camera. Only one I cannot change camera is on the Patreon. So all right. Let's see if I can make it work. Okay. All right. So the upper body is mainly with the heart and the lung, right? The lower part is much more to do with the metabolic. It's your stomach, your spleen and stomach, and it's your liver and gallbladder, and it's your kidney and a bladder. So there's 2 sets. I mean, there's one set that is the splint and the stomach. So this is a very important energy point. So if you go to your knee, you measure 3 fingers, you press in. Okay, it's right here. It's right here. Okay, very sore. Now you take your fist, you form a empty fist, right? So it's basically empty. You're not squeezing it that hard. You use the edge right here. You put down on top. Now you make sure your legs are kind of flexible. Okay. Now you feel it as you tap. Get ready. Go. Okay. Now this is the yin energy named after the splint. This is the yang energy that named after the stomach. So you come back to the knee, you measure 4 fingers, you find the bone, and it's right next to the bone. You press in it, it's very sore. Put your fist on top, close your knee, get ready, go. Okay, now you measure another 4 fingers, locate the bone right outside. Okay, now this one actually is very important, and it's known to lower your cholesterol by lowering your inflammation. Get ready, go. Okay, all right, so now another pair is the liver and the gallbladder. Now the liver actually starts with the thumb, so there's one energy point that we work on, and it's just right in the middle. Get ready, go. Okay, now we close your knee, 2 energy points outside. Another one. Okay, and then there's 3 energy points below the knee. So the first one, if you run your fingers here, and you can't get any more, you can't go up anymore, is in right here. Okay, get ready, go. And in the middle. And then all the way down to the ankle, measure 4 fingers up. Get ready, go. Okay, all right, so now we work on the toes. Again, I apologize to those who are on Patreon. Okay, now, first you open up your toes. You see this line in here? Just like this line. You massage. And then before they join together, there's an energy point here that you want to do some acupressure. And then you massage. Now, this is the liver energy. And then now you turn it upside down, you bend the toes back. This is tendon. You scrape. Relax. Scrape the bottom of your feet. Scrape the heel. Scrape the ball area. And then now scrape the arch. The entire arch from this bone all the way to the heel. And then scrape right behind the angle. From the angle, measure 4 fingers, find the bone right below the bone, and then scrape the entire. Okay, now you come back, and at the bottom of that ball area is a very important energy point called the gushing spring. Okay, so I talk about the energy between the earth and the heaven. So the earth energy comes up here. And now one important thing we do, we bend back the toes, we form empty hand. We put that on top and we tap that 30 times. Get ready? Go. Continue. Okay, now let's finish up with our right foot. And then press, massage some more. And then turn the feet upside down, scrape the tendon, scrape the bottom of the feet, scrape the bottom of the feet, massage the toes, scrape the arch, scrape behind the ankle, scrape along the length of the inside of your leg. Come back, massage the cushion spring, and then tap that 30 times. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay, all right, so we're ready to get down on the floor to continue with our exercise. And we're gonna be doing our, oops, wrong camera. There you go. Okay. All right. So I mentioned the 8 cavities of longevity. So we'll work on 4 of them on the upper part, and now we're going to work on the other 4. And so first you bend your knee, you wrap your hands around your back of your knee, 4 fingers in the back, thumbs on the side. And we're going to tap that 30 times. Get ready, go. Continue. And then finally, the last 2 cavities is right here. And so first massage, and then form a fist and fit it in this bottleneck area. Tap that 30 times. Okay, so now we're going to do our exercise of the day called the Yi Jing Jing, exchange or renewal of the meridians. So we're actually going to be working on all 12 meridians. 6 of them we'll work on extensively, starting with the fingers. 6 of them we'll work on extensively, starting with the toes. And there's 2 more. There's one called the Guardian, and then there's one in front. This one is called Yang. This one is Yang. This one is Yin. Okay. Now the exercise allows us to energize our body. And then we have to sit down and collect all that energy and then make use of it, right? Okay, so first we do this one. It's a very energetic exercise, which means that as soon as we energize, we have to spend equal time to restore, all right? Very important. So once we do a movement, then I'll ask you to come back to pay attention to your breath. And the whole point of that is to restore the sensitivity to your stress hormone so that you can unlock your self-healing power. It's very important, okay? All right, so now the bottom of the feet, we're touching. We turn our toes inward. We're loosening our knee. We open our shoulder, relax, lean back the forehead, tuck in the chin. And then now take the bottom of your palm face down, bring it back slightly. This first is called the spirit boosting palm. So the important part is that you align your mind, you anchor your mind and the center of your palm together. And you don't push with just your body, you push with your body and your mind. Get ready. Relax. Go. And then I'll come back to the breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Okay, now second time. Stay focused. Go. Come back to your breath. One last time. Go. Back to the breath. The next one called pointing. So you focus on your thumb, you point it to your hip. You roll your 4 fingers. You imagine you have 2 buckets of water hanging on your thumb and you lift up your water. You lift up the bucket. You bend your thumb as hard as you can. And then you relax your fingers without lowering them, maintaining that energy loop. Second time. Back to your breath. One last time. Relax, lower your hand, back to the breath. Now the third one is called beginner's mind. It's what the babies do inside the mother's womb, also after they were born. They put the thumb across, they rub the 4 fingers, and they squeeze. And then open without lowering your hand, relax, focusing on your breath. Second time. Once again, relax. One last time. Lower your hand, completely relax. Now Now put your fists together, put that in front of your belly button. Follow your fists as you breathe in. And relax. Now you close your elbow. Focus on your back and squeeze, crack, stretch your back, and then relax. Second time. And then relax. One last time. And then relax. Next one's called a fist on top of the head. You take your fist, you put that on top of your head, you open your shoulder, you open your fist. Then you roll your fingers, you lock it with your fist, and you squeeze. And then relax. Second time, open your shoulder and you squeeze. And then relax. One last time, squeeze, and then relax. Next one's called stabbing the shoulder. Open your shoulder, grab 2 daggers, point it to your shoulder, point it to your shoulder, and you stab. And then relax. Open your fingers. After 2 breaths, second time, stab. And then relax. One last time, stab. And then relax. Next one called a cross. Now I want you to kind of imagine there are 2 trees on both sides. You're just going to push it. And before we push, we're going to rotate our wrists. All right. And then we're going to form a fist, taking a deep breath, hold your breath and push. Second time, lift up your hand. One last time, lift up your hand, roll your wrists, form your fist, take a deep breath, hold your breath, push. Now we're going to do the same thing, called the front hanging. So we lock your elbow, trees in front, take a deep breath, hold your breath, push. Second time. After 2 breaths, one last time. Now, next one is the same as doing a chin up, except that your mind and body has to be together. So you look up, you see a bar, you grab the bar, and this is about this muscle. You pull yourself up, and then relax. Second time. Relax. One last time. Relax. Now, you put your fists together, you collect all your salivas, and you say, I don't have any salivas. My mouth is completely dry. Well, you're doing it wrong, because when I asked you to pay attention to your breath, you were supposed to return to rest and digest. First thing that happens when you're in rest and digest is that reactivates the saliva gland. So collect all your saliva and swallow all the way down. Now this next one is important. So first, we want to check our goat stand. Toes are pointing inward, knees are unlocked. We straighten up our back of the hand touching, and we lower upper torso and lock our elbow Keep down your head, looking straight down. Squeeze your fists, back of the hand touching. Squeeze your fists, back of the hand touching. Squeeze your fists, back of the hand touching. Now the next one you have to do one continuous motion. Flip your hand, follow your fist, your palm of the hand, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Lower your knee, see the big rock in front of you. Breathe in, breathe out. Walk back to our sitting position. First, we're going to adjust our sitting posture by straightening up our spine, lifting up our shoulder, lean back, open our shoulder, and relax. Then we're going to lean back the forehead, tuck in the chin. We're going to relax the eyelid. We close our eye, but without shutting it. Just relax the eyelid. Then we put the tip of the tongue behind here, behind the teeth, where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. I want you to come back to the body now. Feel all that tingling in your body, all that sensation in your body. That's the chi working in your body. And it's kind of uncoordinated. So what we want to do is we want to collect all that into our lower stomach, a place that we call Dan Ten. Dan means fire. Ten means feel. It's the feel of fire. And we do that by using our diaphragm to breathe. So I want you to focus on your breath. Feel that your body is breathing in. Feel that your body is breathing out. I want you to anchor your mind on your belly button. And when you feel that your body is breathing in, I want you to open the stomach, point the belly button forward. And then when you breathe out, I want you to bring in the stomach, pointing the belly button back. Now, when you breathe in, you actually enter using your diaphragm, okay? It only works if you breathe in using your diaphragm. It enters into the sympathetic mode, what's called fight or flight. That's the yang energy. And then when you breathe out using your diaphragm, bringing your belly button back, you enter into the parasympathetic, the rest and digest. So basically, you're collecting all your energies in your body, which you open up, previously untapped, and now you're collecting them into your dantian by just breathing. I know that I'm breathing in. I open my stomach, pointing the belly button forward. I know I'm breathing out. I'm collapsing my stomach, bringing the belly button back, one breath at a time. Now, as you do that, there's a subtle change. The tingling that you were feeling before is getting less because you're collecting all that into your dantian, one breath at a time. Now that we have collected all our energies into your stomach, into your diaphragm, using your diaphragm, it is time to circulate that energy in these two primary vessels. One is where all the yang energy goes. That's your spine. One is the opposite, which is coming back in the front. Now, want you to just feel your breath. Let go of your belly button and just feel your breath. Now anchor your mind on the lower part of your spine. As you breathe in, I want you to stretch your spine upward, going from the bottom of your spine all the way up to the top of your head. Bringing all that yang energy through your spine into the top of the head, this energy point called 100 meet. As you breathe out, I want you to come back in the front, from the top of the head to the forehead, to your nose, to your tongue. As you come down towards your belly button, I want you to lean back and relax. Breathe in, stretch your spine. Breathe out, lean back and relax. We often talk about the Buddhist practice, the Buddhist teaching. The way to understand the Buddhist teaching is to recognize that it's not a religion. There's nothing to believe. There's nothing that you can pray to. It's all about practice of yourself. And we often say that the purpose of the Buddhist practice and the Buddhist teaching is to be enlightened. What exactly does that mean? We often use the phrase Nama state. And sometimes it's translated into may my light and your light meet. It talks about the light that is inside of us. Nama is one half of our existence. The other half is called Rupa. So it's called Rupa Nama. Rupa is everything that is physical about us, including our thinking brain, thinking mind. Nama is what's left. In fact, what is left, if you're able to get rid of the attachment to your physical existence, is your light. Our attachment to our existence is one of the 5 hindrances. The 5 hindrances summarizes all our impure emotions: attachment, clinging. Now, we don't always get attached or we don't always cling to what makes us feel good. Many of us get attached and cling to what makes us feel horrible. That's why one of the best advice that I can give to anyone is, as you age, start to understand who your friends are. Identify the friends that I call toxic friends, because these are the people that are very attached to suffering, and they want to share their suffering with you. They want to find suffering. It is their existence. So don't think that attachment or clinging is only to something that makes you feel good. The problem is that a lot of us get attached to something that makes us feel bad. The second thing is called aversion. Buddha symbolizes attachment with a bird that is now extinct. A bird that is very unique in that when the owner dies, they die too. They can't live with not having the owner. They get very attached to the owner. Whereas aversion, Buddha symbolized it with a snake. Not that snake is bad. Snake minds their own business, except when you step on them. And the only reaction that they can give is a negative reaction. So that's the second part. It's called aversion. The third part is loss of faith. Loss of faith is doubt. We don't have confidence anymore. We don't have confidence even in our own democracy. It's called doubt. And then finally, something called depression and something called anxiety. I try to describe one versus the other. One is when you're locked inside and you don't want to be seeing the outside. It's like being the inside of a drum. You can hear all the commotions outside, but you don't want to be part of it. You don't want to confront it. You want to hide from it. And the other one is on top of the drum. You're part of the commotion. You're being consumed by the hate, the divisions that are actually outside. So those are called the 5 hindrances. Enlightenment means that we want to get rid of the 5 hindrances, at least want to manage it. It's like pushing away the dark cloud to be able to see the sun. The sun is inside of us. The light is inside of us. What's interesting is that fear is not one of them, because fear is all of them. The problem that we see in the world, fighting between countries, fighting between people, fighting between political parties, fighting between people of different color, different preferences, sexual or otherwise, is fear. Fear of losing our own identity. Fear of not really understanding who we are. Fear of not being grateful for what we have. There's a very good way to deal with fear, and let's integrate that into our practice. As you breathe in, you stretch your spine. As you breathe out, I want you to lean back. I want you to lean back as far as you can. And at the same time, I want you to feel the fear in you, the fear of falling over. Fear combines all 5 hindrances. It's what we call the unwholesome feeling. The wholesome feelings are the loving kindness, the compassion, the equanimity, and the empathy. It's the gratitude, the acceptance, the sharing, and the openness. The 5 hindrances, the fear is the opposite of that. I want you to identify that fear, but at the same time, I want you to identify the Pāṇ. The Pāṇ symbolizes your nama, your mind, your essence. There's something funny about the lotus pond. At the bottom of the pond is the mud, is the debris, is all the unwholesomeness of our existence. But yet, the lotus flower can rise above it. I believe that is very inspirational, particularly so for someone who vowed to practice Buddha's teaching. I want you to think about that fear as you lean back, as a symbol for all your unwholesome feelings, something that symbolizes by the 5 hindrances, something that is actually blocking your inner enlightenment. I want you to think about that as the debris that you want to settle as you come down into the bottom of the pond. And just let it stay there. But instead, focus on top of the pond. On top of the pond, focus on the reflection. And you know that if there's any kind of disturbance on the surface of the pond, you're not going to see that reflection. You're not going to see the light in you. So your job is to just stay calm, let go of the fear, let it settle into the bottom of the pond, and just focus on top of the pond. Focus on your lotus flower that is inside of you, that represents all that is good in you. And then when you breathe in, you stretch your spine all the way to the top of the head. And when you breathe out, you lean back as far as you can. Let the fear come out. Confront your fear. Accept your fear. And let go of your fear. Let it sink. And just now focus on top of your pond. Okay? That's the practice. All right. So I'll see you all next week. Thank you, Martha. Thank you for your donation. And as I said, we will have a class tomorrow. So there's no internet connection. I will do my best to record using my my cell phone. So if you want to see the recording, or you want to even participate in real time, you actually have to go to my YouTube channel. And the best way to find my YouTube channel is just DannyKmeal.com/YouTube. But you have to subscribe, right? Otherwise they won't show you the live cast. Okay? All right, so I'll see you all next week. Let us be blessed with health, with happiness and with peace. Namaste. OK， 我哋星期一見嚇。如果你聽日有時間咧，9點鐘你打開個電腦就見到我哋噶啦。OK， 拜拜。
OK，
Thank you。OK， 拜拜，拜拜。
感恩。
Thank you。